Hi there, Hoosick Falls Central School. We're back. It's Mrs. Stevens and Mrs. Ferraro. Merry Christmas. Happy last day of school before Christmas vacation. So anyway, as teachers, we get lots of questions about Santa.
Like, why is his suit red? Why is his hat red? Why does he travel around the world?
So we're going to try to answer those questions with a little story.
In one of the northern countries, there was a small city called Sombertown. It was a cold place, nestled in the shadows of the Whispering Mountains. You might wonder why it was so sad and cold. The answer lies with the mayor, a mean old grouch known as Burgermeister Meisterburger. One day, a baby was found on his porch. There was no name for the baby, only a single necklace that read Claus. The mayor didn't want to care for the baby, so he sent him away to the local orphanage. However, on the way there, the baby mysteriously disappeared.
The baby was found by a bunch of woodland creatures, and they brought the baby to the river valley, fearful that the old winter warlock might get the baby otherwise. They left baby Claus with a nice and jolly family named the Kringles. They were happy to take care of him.
Oh, wiggle my ears and tickle my toes. Methinks I see a baby's nose, but it's more than a nose.
Why, there's a whole baby attached to it. I must go show Tanta Kringle.
A baby, what a lovely surprise. Oh, he'll live with us and drink hot cocoa with us. And we'll call him Chris Kringle.
As Chris grew, they educated him in math, language, and geography. He helped make toys with them, too. Oh, we forgot to mention, that was the Kringle's job, to make toys. But there were no children to give them to because the kids in Sombertown were on the other side of the mountain past the warlock.
Don't worry, I'm gonna take them over the mountain for you.
Ah, that'll be the day. You know, we were once the foremost toy makers in the world.
When Chris got older, he decided to make the trek to Sombertown. Before he left, Tanta Kringle made him a nice red suit, just like his Kringle family. However, he didn't get too far into his journey before running into the warlock.
Who nears my mountain? Go back or be doomed.
The doctor tells me I've broken my funny bone. What has caused this?
This toy, sir.
Toy? I hate toys. Either toys go or I go, and I am not going.
By the time Chris arrived in Sombertown, they didn't know what to think of him. They were all grumpy and unfriendly. When he mentioned how sad everyone was, they ran away from him. Later, Chris saw some children doing chores.
What are you doing, watching stockings?
Yes, we're doing our chores. We have to wash them and hang them on the fireplace. Yeah, that's how they judge us around here. How well we clean our stockings and do our chores.
Well, is that so? You don't have to look so gloomy about it.
Why?
I don't like your sour faces. And if you fix them, I have some goodies for you. But you better not pout, and you better not cry.
Why?
I'm telling you why, because I came to town.
Well, Chris didn't know that toys were against the law. It's a good thing their teacher, Miss Jessica, stopped him from giving the toys to the children. She explained how Burgermeister Meisterburger outlawed toys, and they could be in great danger. But when Chris gave her a doll that she always wanted, it changed her mind about toys and the law that Burgermeister Meisterburger created. It didn't last long, though.
Toys? Toys? Arrest those children.
Hold up. Don't arrest these children. It's my fault.
Go, get him. Arrest him.
Chris was lucky enough to escape the arrest by running into the forest. However, his joy was short-lived because he stumbled on the land of the winter warlock.
Chris Kringle, you have bothered me for the last time.
Well, before you do me in, let me give you something.
A toy? Nobody's ever given me a toy before.
Well, I want to start a new tradition.
You see, this nice gesture thawed that warlock's icy heart. He hoped this feeling would last forever. Chris explained to him that making a change is just like taking your first steps.
Now that Chris and the Winter Warlock were friends, he used a crystal ball to show Chris that Miss Jessica was looking for him. The children had written letters asking for more toys. The Burgermeister Meisterburger destroyed all the others. Chris told Jessica to have all the kids leave their doors unlocked so he could sneak the toys in. But the kids needed to be good. He could now watch them now that he had a crystal ball. The next night, Chris went house by house leaving gifts for the good little girls and boys.
Mr. Burgermeister told us to lock all of our doors.
Chris didn't let this stop him. He came up with the idea of going down people's chimneys and hiding toys in the children's stockings, because who would look in dirty stockings? However, the Burgermeister still spotted toys around town, leading him to set a trap for Chris. Miss Jessica attempted to get the Winter Warlock to warn Chris, but he had fortunately run out of magic. The guards eventually found Miss Jessica, the Kringles, and the Winter Warlock and arrested them for trying to help Chris. With no one to warn him, Chris was also arrested later that night. Don't worry, though. They ended up letting Miss Jessica go, and Miss Jessica got help from the magic feed that the Winter Warlock had. She decided to give the magic feed to the reindeer, and it made them fly. So with that, she went back to the dungeon and got all of her friends out of jail.
This upset the Burgermeister Meisterburger, who posted flyers and pictures all over town in order to catch Chris. Chris decided that he needed to disguise himself. He grew a beard and decided to change his name.
When you were left on our doorstep, you had a tag with you with the name Claus. I think it's time that you take that name back.
I will take my name back if Jessica shares it with me.
They were married on Christmas Eve night, and the Winter Warlock used the last bit of his magic to light up the pine trees in the forest. The first Christmas trees. They didn't have time to rest, though. They traveled far up to the North Pole, where they would settle down and build their workshop.
So, the legend of Kris Kringle traveled all around the world, even though that Burgermeister Meisterburger tried to stop it.
That's why he started traveling at night, because he was considered an outlaw. But eventually, Burgermeister Meisterburger fell out of power, and Santa could just be Santa.
I can hardly keep up with my orders. I'm going to have to limit this to just one time a year.
And the rest is history. We would like to thank everybody who helped us make this video. Everybody have a wonderful, safe, happy vacation. Bye. Merry Christmas.